Yes, well. Hello guys, how are you doing? Let me trust you're doing good. Today, I would like us to talk about this diagram. This is a power input diagram. Sorry for that. Yes, this is a power input diagram. Actually, this is a diagram which shows how the voltage enters into the motherboard all the way from the power adapter, that is the AC adapter, until it reaches the motherboard. So past here, we will have a voltage going into the motherboard. So let's start from here. This is where you plug in your power. So this is the charging port. You plug in your adapter here. Then the voltage is applied. First here we'll have power fuse or the power inductor. An inductor which is normally used here is what's called thin film inductor. Then that's an inductor is a continuous component. So it allows power to cross over. Then it reaches here. This is MOSFET one. A MOSFET is just a power switch which switches power from this particular point to the next side. So here is the drain of the MOSFET and here is the source of the MOSFET. And this side we will have a gate whereby the gate will have a signal voltage which is going into the charging IC. So you have MOSFET 1. Once the voltage reaches here, this charging IC, this is called voltage in power, so this is a charging IC. It senses that through the gate of this MOSFET, we will have a signal line going into the IC. And now the voltage is switched. It is switched from this side to the source of this MOSFET. Once the voltage is switched to this side, it proceeds to the second MOSFET. So this is the second MOSFET. If it is a P channel, so we'll have two types of MOSFETs here. We'll have a P channel MOSFET and N channel MOSFET. So the first one is the P channel MOSFET. That's why you'll have an input from the drain. Then the second one is the P channel. So this is N channel. Then the other one is P channel MOSFET, whereby the source is the input. The source is the input. Then the voltage, once the voltage reaches here, still we'll have signal coming from the charging IC, which and those signals can give instruction to charging IC to switch a voltage from this particular side to the other side. Now let's talk a little bit about here. What happens here? These MOSFET, these two MOSFET, MOSFET 1 and MOSFET 2, they don't switch power by themselves. It needs the instructions or the commands from these ICs. This is the charging IC. And the most common IC which is used here is what's called the BQ. Yes, the most common IC which is used here is what's called the BQ. Now, once the voltage reaches the drain of this MOSFET 2, it is passed through this PR1. So this is the current sense resistor. Normally it's called CSR. So this is the current sense resistor. As you can see, at the entrance point of this, at this particular site, whereby the voltage is coming through to, we'll have the first signal line, which goes into the charging IC. This signal is called CSSB. This is current sense signal for positive. So this is CSSB. So this is current sense signal for positive. This is current sense signal for negative. So the positive is whereby the side which receives the voltage from the MOSFET 2. The negative is the side which releases power into the motherboard. Yes. So these two signals senses the current going past this resistor and send back some information to the charging IC. In case you have excess current going past here, the charging IC will get that signal and it will regulate the current from where? From MOSFET 1 and 2. In case you have less, still same message is sent to this IC and the IC also controls the voltage from here. This blue line, as you can see here, we have blue lines. This is AC, okay, and AC in. These are the signal line, which this one is the one which reads the charger. That is the charging ID. That's why it's AC, okay. Then here is the one which confirms the usage of the data of the adapter. This red line, the red line, that is the voltage. Yes, that's the live voltage. That's the main line. Then I want you to check this also. We have the SIO. The SIO, this is the system input output or the EC. This is an IC which controls or manages all the power within the laptop motherboard. That's why, in other terms, you find that it's called the mini computer. It's a mini computer because it is responsible for managing power within the motherboard. This IC is not managing power directly, but it manages power by sending the signal to the PMICs. The PMICs are these ICs which controls power. Maybe they step down the voltage, they do the some of the maybe stepping up the power and so on and so on. So this IC is now sending some enable signals to those PMICs. For example, as you can see this one, we have some signals that is a SMD and SMC. He is sending some signals to the charging IC. Also, the charging IC can send back confirmation signals to the SIO. Then we have another IC here. As you can see, most of the blue signals are coming from either the charging IC or the SIO. Even this one, you have SM data and SM clock. These are the signal lines which communicates with the battery. So this SIO also is communicating with the battery in one way or the other, maybe confirming the battery is good, the battery is bad, the battery is charging, and all those information we normally get from the screen. For example, as you can see this one, my battery, you can see it down here. So my battery status is reading, battery status is 8% remaining. So that communication, the capacity of the voltage of the power which is still remaining within the motherboard. As you can see, mine is reading 68%. That information is relayed to the SIO, whereby it can display in the screen through the ICH. ICH, this is the input control hub. These are chipsets within the PCH, and we know the PCH is platform control hub. So within the PCH, we have two main chipsets, that is ICH and MCH. ICH is input control hub, and the MCH is memory control hub. This input control hub, it reads all the informations about the input devices, including the battery, the keyboard, and any other device which you input into your computer, even the USB flash. For example, I know if I plug in a USB flash right now, we will see some information about it. I don't know whether I have one working USB flash. Maybe we can try this. I don't know whether it is working or not. Let me just plug in, then you can see it is plugged. Okay, maybe there is a problem with this flash, so I don't know. Yes, because it's not reading anything. Maybe it's something wrong with it. But anyway, even if I plug in there, so I think I have another one here. Let me just use this one. Nice. Let's try this. So when I plug in a working flash, the USB is yes a problem. Yes, you can see now it has detected the presence of that flash, and you can see now it's popping up on my PC. Yes, the system which detects the presence of this flash. As you can see now, I'm able to control this flash, or I am able to see whatever contained within this flash. Yes, the system which confirms that is the SIO. That is the ICH, and that ICH gets the information from the SIO. So the SIO first, because these are system input. So it reads all the input components, including what? The flash disk, the keyboard, the battery, any component which you input into your laptop. For that component to be recognized, the SIO recognize that and send the information to where? To the SIO. As you can see, this one is reading what? Batch law. So meaning this is the information about the battery. So the SIO has read what is in the battery and relayed that information through the ICH, and is confirming the battery is low. Yes. For the laptop which is using this circuit, maybe at that time the battery was low, or the battery was fully charged. So all those information about the battery is sent to the ICH by the SIO. Again, you can see this other line, this last line here. This is the temperature sensor. So this is the line which confirms the temperature of the battery. That's why sometimes you might have some error reading on your screen about the battery is overheating or warning critical battery something, maybe it's overheating or something. So all those information is sent to the SIO, whereby the SIO can send that info into the ICH, and the ICH send that info to the CPU, whereby the CPU can display that info on your screen, and you will be able to read exactly what is happening on the screen. So within the battery, we have information line called the BMS, that is the battery management system. That line is now what controls what is within the battery and communicates with the outside the battery, that is the SIO. Nice. So let's just have some more discussion about here. So here you can see we have some MOSFETs. So remember we said this is MOSFET 1, this is MOSFET 2. We'll have MOSFET 3 and MOSFET 4 from this other side. These MOSFETs, these are the ones which are used to charge the battery. Yes, those MOSFETs are two. Yes, there are two MOSFETs. So the voltage goes past here and it is sent to this MOSFET, whereby this coil is now what charges the battery. So we have an inductor here. This is an inductor. Yes, this is an inductor which charges the battery. So the voltage going through here is the voltage which is going into the battery to be used to charge the battery, and the battery receives power. When you unplug now when you plug, you will be using the 18 voltage from the AC adapter, that is from the charger. Once you unplugged it, maybe you remove this charger here, you will have a voltage coming from the battery. As you can see here, this red line, we say this red line is the voltage output. So once the laptop is unplugged, the laptop shift from using the adapter into using the voltage from the battery. So here we'll have 10.8 or 11 voltage or 12, depending on the capacity of the battery. So we'll have voltage coming from the battery, which can go through this MOSFET, then into the motherboard. So this is the output line. So past here, we are now heading into the motherboard. Yes. At least let's talk a little bit about these two MOSFETs. In case you have an issue with these two MOSFETs, you can see these are called battery not charging. No, yes. In case you have an issue with these two MOSFETs, you will have an issue with your laptop not charging. That's why here it is indicated battery not charging. So if these MOSFETs are shorted or they have an issue, probably you will not have a voltage, or you will not have power switched from the input line to the output to be sent to charge the battery. Same case with this one. With this one, in case this MOSFET is shorted or in case it has an issue, meaning the voltage which should come from the battery and which should be sent into the motherboard will stop here. So meaning we will not have any voltage which will be switched to the motherboard. Yes, that's why in most instances you might find a case where a customer reports the laptop it's working fine, but when you unplug it shuts down. Yes, so this could be an issue. So let's discuss about that case. Let's say you have a laptop where it only powers on with the power adapter. So this will be your first suspect. So the suspect number one first is the battery. Maybe the battery is faulty. If the battery is faulty, it is not able to supply the 10 voltage from the battery into the laptop. Again, maybe the battery is good. If the battery is good and still the laptop is not working with the battery, again, this MOSFET could be a problem. Yes, if this MOSFET is a problem, meaning it will not be able to switch voltage from this side to the other side, and of course, you will not have voltage still on the motherboard. Again, another problem which you might be having is when the SIO is the problem. Yes, when SIO is faulty, meaning it's not even recognizing the presence of the battery. Yes, you might be having a good battery, you might be having a good MOSFET, but the SIO is faulty. Once the SIO is faulty, it will not be able to control the inputs, and the battery is one of the inputs. So meaning it will not even be recognized. Or sometimes you might be having an issue with the SM bus lines. So these blue lines, these are called the SM bus lines. Yes, these are the lines which communicates with the SIO and the battery. In case one of them has an issue or both of them has an issue, still we will not have a communication from the battery to the SIO. Then again, maybe you have a problem with your processor, with your ICH. But now, in case you have an issue with the ICH, I don't think even you will have power coming into the motherboard. Why? Because, or you might be having power coming the motherboard, but other components which relies on the ICH might not be in operation, including the SIO. Yes, so meaning still you might have big problems with your laptop. So in short, I'm trying to say, whenever you have a problem with any of the components within the motherboard, still you have something going wrong. Yes, be it the power input components. If one of the power input components have a problem, you will experience a problem with the power input supply. If you have an issue with some signal lines or the communication lines, still you will have a problem. So this, as you can see, each and every MOSFET here is driven by the signal. As you can see, this MOSFET, there's a signal line coming from the charging IC. This MOSFET, there's a signal line coming from there. This MOSFET, there's a signal line coming from there. Tell me, which MOSFET are you seeing which doesn't have a signal line? Nothing. No MOSFET. So in short, it means all of these MOSFETs, all of them are driven by a specific IC. Be it the charging MOSFET, you can see the charging MOSFET is driven by this charging IC. In case you have other MOSFETs within the motherboard, still those MOSFETs will have their controllers. It will have their controllers. So meaning to be driven by another IC, which is also found there in the within the motherboard. So you can see this, the reading for this is a voltage in. V in, it means a voltage in bracket. It could be either from the DC, that is from the charging adapter, or from the battery positive. So this is a battery. Yes, it could be from the battery. Battery is coming from this way, and the charger is coming from this way. Any question? Let me hope at least you understood something. Yes. In case you have any issue or in case you have any question, you can just type on the comment section and I'll get back to you. I will answer you there, or I might decide to make a video responding to your question. So guys, thank you so much for being patient and for listening to me all the time. I really appreciate you guys. Still, I'm reminding you, in case you haven't subscribed to our channel, please, I'm still requesting you, please subscribe. Share with your friends who are interested in learning about laptop repair. And still, in case you want to learn to repair laptops, in case you want to acquire these repair skills, you are highly welcome. We also teach those who wants to major in the world of laptop repairs, and you're welcome, guys. So thank you so much, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.